Hey everybody, welcome in to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video, which is going to be about how you can actually be abundant from the inside, okay? Hi everyone, welcome in. Don't be afraid of the chat today. Since this isn't an intuitive reading, I will be able to interact with the chat and I will be able to read some of you guys' messages as I go along. But the topic of discussion today is really going to be about abundant mindset and how you can attain an abundant mindset from within yourself. So this is being able to feel like you have abundance from within yourself as opposed to relying on external factors for abundance, right? So this also has to deal with your own spiritual wealth, because in order to have an abundant mindset, you do have to tap into spirituality and your ability to create for self, no matter what it is that you have in the physical realm, right? So that's going to help you with an abundant mindset. But yeah, so don't be afraid of the chat, you guys. I'm just going to zoom straight through to it. I hope that you guys can see me. Comment below, or not comment below, but comment in the chat if you can see me. I'm trying to use natural sunlight, but it's not really working that well. So I got the artificial light here too. Let me know if you guys can see me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I even have sage smoke is going off here. So that might be why I may be a little bit fuzzy. And the sun's going in and out. So yeah, a couple of updates for you guys, just in case you didn't know. I also do have a product on my website, which I'm going to make sure that I put that over here. Okay, so that's going to be scrolling down there. There's my website, and it's also inside of the description box below. And basically, you guys, I have herbal remedy that I created, me and my fiance. He's certified in herbal. He's a certified herbalist, so he knows all the different herbs that work for different conditions and things like that. And I'm a certified with herbs, but only specifically when it comes to womb healing and womb trauma and things related to yoni steaming. But as far as the product that we have right now, it's called Tranquility. And it's called Tranquility because that's what it's promoting, okay? Tranquil mind, a tranquil body. So basically it, goes ahead and helps with relieving stress, helps with relieving body aches, muscle aches, anxiety. So stress overall, whether physical and stress or whether it's emotional and mental stress. It also helps as a sleep aid. So it helps with people who are, maybe suffering from, trouble sleeping, or if you just want to relax more and have a deeper sleep, it helps with that as well. It also helps with being on your period or your menstrual cycle if you're a female and you're having to relax those muscles like in your uterine wall and, inside of your reproductive area, overall in your root chakra and sacral chakra area. Very simple, very minimalistic, and these are the organic ingredients. All of the ingredients are organic. And you guys already know my certifications and my fiance's certifications. We've been trying to do this for some time now, but we just wanted to make sure that we put out something that was of top quality. So that's pretty much it. Now moving on to the video, but if you guys want that, it's going to be inside the link below and you guys can check it out. Purchase yourself some, type in the code June in all caps inside of the checkout and you will get 10% off, okay? So let's see who we have in here. Kelly Finch, hi, how are you? Kelly Finch, I see you, hear you clearly. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Emojis. You guys love putting emojis. I'm gonna need to hear some actual words, some actual context on the things that I'm talking about. But I definitely appreciate your emojis, okay? Absolutely, I feel the love. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So let's talk about, the topic of discussion finally, which is going to be having an abundant mindset, okay? Having an abundant mindset and being able to also attain spiritual wealth and abundance from yourself. I'm going to be really practical with this. You guys know how I am with my Virgo, Venus and Virgo tendencies and Moon and Virgo tendencies. We're going to get straight to it. So first thing you want to look at when it comes to having an abundant mindset is going to be your perspective. Of course, we're going to talk about perspective, right? Because we're talking about mindset. So this has to do with your mental. This has to do with your mind. So we're going to talk about your perspective. And one of the things you want to make sure that you start with is your mental state. So understanding, what are the things that pop up in your head first off when you think about the word abundance? If somebody says abundance to you, what are the trigger words? What are your thought processes? How do you perceive abundance? What does abundance mean for you? What is your perspective on abundance? That is really important to first understand, because if you're looking towards abundance as something that is has to do with money, if you're looking towards abundance as something that has to do with, I have a lot of things that I want, not things that I need, but things that I want. If that's abundance for you, then there may actually be some problems when it comes to having an abundant mindset because of your perspective. So the first thing you want to have is the correct perspective, right? And I'm not here to tell people how to be, what to do, how to act, but you got to have a perspective that comes from a place of, hey, look, I can have abundance alone. I don't need to rely on external factors. I don't need to rely on external things in order to have abundance. It's about, okay, what is abundance? And separating material wealth and having everything that you need as opposed to everything that you want or everything somebody else has. Having what society expects you to have. Taking that off of your perspective and understanding that it's about you having the things that you feel that you need, and you having the things that are necessary to survive or are necessary to live or are necessary to accomplish the stuff that you need or the stuff that you want to accomplish, right? So the first thing is definitely going to be your perspective. You have to get your perspective in check. You have to make sure that you are able to look at abundance as something that is not material, right? So you can have abundance because you have a lot of money, but you can also have abundance because you have a lot of clothes. Maybe you have a lot of clothes. You have abundance in the clothes. Maybe you have a lot of ideas. You have an abundance of ideas. So it's not necessarily, okay, I have money, I have cars, I have what society puts inside of my face and calls abundant, and looking at that as abundant. It's about your perspective on abundant through your experience. And personally, my recommendation is abundance is something that is found from within yourself. It's something that you tap into from within yourself. It's an understanding that you don't have to own something in order to call it yours. There's abundance all around you. There's abundance in your atmosphere. There's abundance in your living situation. There's abundance in the earth that you walk on. There's abundance in flower. There's abundance in, air. There's abundance in animals, creatures, sound, noise, all of these things. This is abundance. So feeling as if you don't have anything is really coming down to a perspective and really coming down to that. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is going to be abundance and creation. All right. Freedom of choice. Exactly. Freedom of choice. but also knowing that you have the right choice. Because if you have the wrong choice, which is going to be looking at it from a greed perspective, or looking at it as, okay, I don't own this, so it's not mine, and I don't have it, so I lack. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the issue. That's going to be the problem. But yeah, so you guys, abundance and creation. So the reason why these things are tied together is because abundance and creation basically are essentially the same thing, because you're creating abundance. In order to have abundance, it's something that you have to create. In order to have a lot of something, it's something that you have to create, right? It's something that you have to make. So they really go hand in hand. And, creating abundance for yourself, the most important things to understand when it comes to having that abundant mindset is that that abundance has to come from you. It has to come from source. It has to come from within you. And first, what needs to be understood too is that abundance is something that you find from within yourself. So it's not about going out to see what Sally or Lucy's doing in order to get abundance or in order to gain abundance. It's not about seeing how much money somebody else has or comparing yourself to somebody else's riches and saying, okay, I lack abundance because this person has more than me. It's about really understanding that I create the abundant. I'm the reason why abundance exists, because I create that abundance. The only reason why abundance exists is because you create it. The only reason why you have a lot of food is because you did the work for it, or you created it, you put in the effort, or you came up with the ideas, or you cooked a lot of food. You did that. You created the abundance. Okay, you have a lot of money. You created that for yourself. You created that foundation for yourself. And that's why abundance and creation goes together, okay? And that's just really, really important. And I talk about the source because we live in an age right now, we're in the age of like digital abundance. We're in an age of digital abundance. We're in an age where it's the age of Aquarius, but more so the beginning stages of age of Aquarius. So there's no order to it. There's no structure to it. It's just social media. It's just excess of uselessness. You know what I mean? So what ends up happening with social media and what ends up happening with, you know, all of these things and all this digital stuff is people get distracted and people get used to really comparing themselves with what other people have. Okay, Sally has more money than me. Sally has better photos than me. Tom's doing better than me. I lack. This is what happens in today's society. This is what can restrain you from having an abundant mindset, is comparing yourself to what other people have over and over again. And it's really hard not to compare yourself to what other people have when you're on social media 24/7, or if you're always, looking at what everybody else has instead of looking at the source. And the source is really coming from you. It's coming from your own soul and your own perspective and your own mental state. You know what I'm saying? So it's really all about that. And emojis, emojis, emojis. You guys are really good with the emojis. Like, all right. It's really all about that. You know what I'm saying? It's about understanding not to compare yourself to other people, because once you start doing that, you're going to feel like you lack stuff regardless. You're going to feel like, hey, I don't have enough. I don't have much. I'm lacking because I'm constantly comparing myself to what other people have and what other people are doing, as opposed to looking at the source. There are no handouts. People can't just give you things. So you have to look at your own self and look at your source, because you're the starting point. You are the projector of this reality. So you're seeing things through your eye, and you are the source and you are the creation. So in order to have an abundant mindset, it's really crucial to understand the source of abundance. And the source of abundance is not your phone. The source of your abundance is not exterior factors. It's not even money. That's not the source of abundance. The source of abundance is going to be your actual perspective and your ability to create from within yourself. Once you learn how to master a craft or master a skill, or have the confidence that you're capable of creating things for yourself, that's when you'll be able to really understand source and really understand where abundance comes from, and the fact that abundance comes from your ability to create, as opposed to your ability to rely on something else to create for you. Okay? Because if you rely on something else to create for you, you're going to constantly feel like you lack. You're going to constantly feel like, you don't have enough, because you need this other object or you need this other tool in order to feel comfortable. Because abundance is comfort as well, right? So, it's important to understand these things when we're talking about having an abundant mindset, because it all comes from within you. When we talk about having spiritual wealth, spiritual knowledge, spiritual wealth and spiritual interior, wealth comes down to really understanding how to really sit with yourself and be alone, and how not to depend on other things. If you can't be bored, if you are not able to be bored, if you're not able to sit with yourself and hear your own thoughts, if you're not able to, be in isolation and really reflect on everything you have, then you are not going to be able to gain spiritual wealth from inside and spiritual abundance from inside, because you have to reach that. You have to be able to detach from all exterior things, because we're talking about interior abundance, abundant mindset, abundant, from the inside, spiritual abundance. So these are all things that are coming from your interior world. I always talk about, I haven't gone live like this in a while, you guys. I haven't interacted with the comments or anything, because a lot of the comments I've been getting have been a bunch of emojis, nobody really saying anything in context of what I'm talking about, So I really do encourage people, whenever you comment or talk into the chat, make sure just, obviously you guys are free to say what you want, but it'd be nice to actually say things that are related to what I'm talking about in the video, or say things that are related to what it is that I'm talking about in the live, as opposed to just doing a bunch of emojis. Because if I go through my comment section and it's just a bunch of emojis and no context, that's burying the professionalism of my channel. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that when you guys do comment and you guys do chat, you know, after this live is done and you comment, make sure that you guys are actually, you know, saying things knowledgeable, things with context, and things that can make a difference with somebody else who's watching the video, okay? But yeah, it's been a while since I gone live like this and interacted with you guys. But, you know, yeah, you have to really be able to be alone and sit in isolation, be by yourself, and, you know, really come back to, come back to self-reliance. Self-reliance is a big factor in it, you know. The thing about some of these talks and these discussions is that I can explain this, you know, but it's up to the person who's seeking an abundant mindset to actually do the work. So these are the steps, you know, but if you don't do the work, you're not going to see progress. If you don't do the work, you are not going to see progress in anything in life, you know, especially when it comes to change and things that you're trying to change within yourself. So if you feel like you're not having an abundant mindset, or you feel like you don't have enough in life, and you're always feeling like your security, your you know, your root chakra, your sense of security, your sense of feeling like comfortable is lacking, then, you know, you got to really come down to understanding that you just have to be able to rely on yourself at the end of the day. You have to be able to rely on yourself. Self-reliance. Whenever you want to, because I already told you guys, you know, abundance and creation really is the same thing. It goes hand in hand. It's not the same thing, but it does go hand in hand together. So if you need to create wealth for yourself, you have to have the perspective of what wealth is. And you also have to be able to have inspiration. You have to be able to be creative. And in order to be creative, you have to have inspiration. You have to have ideas, unlimited ideas. And it's really going to be hard to do that without focus. And the number one distraction for focus is going to be social media, you know, social media, or just any type of overload, excess of information coming in. So if you have an overload of excess of information coming in, I'm going to state the most obvious, and that's going to be, you know, social media. If you're going on a social media in order to get inspiration, you know, it's bittersweet, because you can get that inspiration for, you know, 2 seconds, but what ends up happening is now you're dependent on your phone and you're dependent on social media. How will you be able to have an abundant mindset without the confidence that you can create abundance for yourself? It starts to become very, very hard. So if you're attached to social media, or attached to going to external things in order to gain your inspiration for creativity, then you're really shooting yourself in the foot. And on top of that, it's going to get in the way of having an abundant mindset and having spiritual wealth and abundance inside yourself, because your attention is now scattered. And in order to really focus, in order to really be creative, you have to be able to focus. You have to be able to, you know, control your attention and be able to have attention. And social media and any type of overload of any kind of information goes against that. So it's really, 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 really important, guys. Really important. What are you guys saying in the chat? This is my first live, here to learn and grow. Well, welcome in, Olasumbo. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, you know, this is just a quick live here, and self-reliance is important. So sitting in isolation. I've talked about this in the past, you guys, when I did live streams, interacting with the chat a lot. Self-reliance and comes hand in hand with, you know, being able to isolate yourself. If you always have to be around other people, you know, if you always have to depend on other people in order to make your cup full, or in order to feel happiness, in order to feel wealth, right? Because wealth isn't just finance, it's happiness, it's joy, it's contentment. So if you have to be around other people in order to feel wealth, you're also shooting yourself in the foot there too. Because even if you're an introvert, right? Even if you're an introvert, you could still be relying on other things too much to bring abundance for you, to bring ideas for you, to bring inspiration for you, to bring comfort for you. You got to be able to take off the bandage and say, okay, I can do this on my own. Once you know, okay, I've done the work, I'm focused, I'm lacking in this area, or I need this. If you ever feel like you need something, you know that you can rely on yourself for it. And that's a big, big part of having an abundant mindset. Excuse me. And yeah, you know, this live is not going to be too long, you guys, because it's really simple. The hardest part is actually sitting down and applying these things, you know, applying these things, having the time to be alone, sit with your own thoughts, and try to understand the source of abundance and understand how that really is you. Not just repeating it, but actually living it, actually experiencing it, so that way it can shift your perspective and then therefore shift your own algorithm and the matrix system that you're viewing. But yeah, less is more. Less is more. And the reason why I say this is because, for example, like minimalism. Minimalism is something that can really help you have abundant mindset. Minimalism, having less and knowing that, okay, even though I have less, I'm okay. Like, I'm still good. All the things that I felt like I was chasing, all the things that you may have felt like you wanted, once you take a step back and you declutter your life, declutter your mind, declutter your digital life, your phone, all these things, only watch things that are of value to you, like this live. Only watch things that are filling up your cup, but it's because you made that decision, right? Once you minimize greed, then you'll come to understand appreciation and gratitude. And once gratitude comes into play, once you feel these type of emotions, you will have, you know, it may not be a huge spiritual awakening, but you know, it's going to differ for different people, but you will have an enlightening moment, a moment of understanding that less is more, and a moment of understanding that you didn't need anything from the outside world in order to feel secure within yourself. It's like you had a bad day, and every time you feel sad or every time you feel bad, you pick up your phone, you start scrolling, You start looking at other people's life. You start looking at all these things. What if you had a bad day and instead of picking up your phone or turning on the TV or whatever, you took the time to just shut everything off and just sit with yourself and, work with your mind? Because, you guys already know you're not your mind. You and your soul and your mind are two separate things. However, you got to work with this tool. Once you control that, gain your attention, gain your focus back, then you will be able to really come back into your senses and understanding that you have everything you need. Eliminating comparisons, right? This person's doing better than me. This person has more than me. And eliminating distractions. And also just understanding that you are the center of it. Sometimes the cup's not gonna, be poured for you. Sometimes you have to have that self-reliance to pour the cup for yourself and say, okay, I'm having a bad day. What can I do to make myself happy? Okay, I don't have any money for rent. What can I do to fix that? What can I generate? What can I create? Because you can have $1 million and have financial wealth and still not be abundant, still not have any source of feeling like you have enough. Because now your emotions are lacking, or now your compassion is lacking. Another area of your brain is lacking and is imbalanced and doesn't have that abundance. Welcome in, Blind Guy, his wife, and their life. Thank you for tuning in. Amen. Thank you. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Yeah, guys. So, thank you for giving me some context too with the comments. I know I already said this, but geez, y'all be killing me sometimes. I wonder, we're a community here and stuff. But a lot of the things that I talk about are so informational and so informative. Sometimes it gets me caught off guard when I look into the chat or look into the comment sections and see nothing but emojis. And I'm just like, okay, it's starting to look not professional. You know what I'm saying? So definitely love it when there's context, or there's, oh, this video helped me, or, this, because that's my reassurance to really know that, okay, I'm giving you guys what it is that you need. But yeah, you guys, long story short, less is more. Minimalism, declutter, and I will always bring up, social media, making sure that you take breaks from social media, because social media really can even make the rat race seem even more apparent, because you feel like there's something you have to fulfill on whatever platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anything. There's something you have to fulfill because there's this game going on. And there's this like casino slot machine effect, going on with all the numbers and all those things. But you got to stay focused. You got to have your attention focused. Spend time in nature. Spend time. It doesn't mean that you never get on social media or you never, you're just isolating, you're in hermit mode for the rest of your life. It just means that in order to have an abundant mindset, you have to, there's a glass, and the glass has water, and the water, someone's shaking the water. You have to hold that glass still, and you have to have moments where the water is in stillness. And the biggest distraction and the biggest things to cause turbulence of that is not having meditative moments, not having time by yourself, not going on a walk without listening to music, doing something, even if it's just washing dishes, without something playing in the background or a movie playing, auditory, all those things. Just being able to deeply, focus on one thing will be able to gain your attention back. And once you do these things, it will be way easier to have an abundant mindset and even to create abundance inside of your life. So, that's pretty much it, you guys. Excellent information. Thank you. And thank you, Spirit. I say thank you so much. And how to create those boundaries that balance between hermit mode and presence on social media. The best way to create the balance between hermit mode and your presence on social media, like let's say you use social media as a platform and it's part of your business, or it's something that you see a value in your life, you have to really try to create a schedule. That's going to create balance, creating structure, creating a schedule, being able to say, I'm going to do this at this time, and that's when I'm going to do it. After that, it's off, lights off, I'm off the clock. Being able to say, just creating more structure, creating a schedule, creating a routine, and just having some type of structure or some type of schedule and format is what's going to bring balance. Because it's also, if it's not in balance, it's chaotic, right? And if it's not in balance, then it's an excess amount of something. So you're excessively on there. So in order to not excessively be on there, you got to be able to tell yourself, I'm not going to be on here all the time. And if you're not capable of doing that, then it might be a slight addiction with social media, which a lot of people are. Who is yelling back? I hope y'all can't hear that. But yeah, you're gonna have to basically be able to, just create a structure, because you have to create those boundaries from yourself. And this is why one of the first things I said was, these are the things that can help you. These are the things that will create abundant mindset for you. Perspective, I went through it all, perspective, basically evaluating what your perspective on abundance is. What do you perceive as abundance? And do you perceive that as something that is you have to get from somewhere else? Or is it something that you can create with yourself? Understanding abundance and creation and how those two do a dance inside of this physical realm, at least. That's how it works here. Understanding the source of abundance is not an exterior thing. It's from your own self. And then understanding self-reliance and working towards self-reliance. Doesn't mean that you can never rely on something or somebody else. It just means that you have to be able to rely on yourself in order to have an abundant mindset. You even have to be able to rely on your own management and your own rules, your own structure that you put into place. Okay, you got to be able to believe that. And then less is more, minimizing your life. That's going to help because that cuts out the distraction and the clutter and makes you more focused, and therefore, you know, makes you understand that less is more and that you're okay with less. Okay. So all of those things are things that, without doubt, if every one of you actually put those things into work and did it, you will see a difference in your life. If you spent time without social media and you spent time by yourself and you spent time in isolation for a little bit here and there, to focus your attention on that subject, you will definitely succeed. But I just told you everything you had to do, and now it's really up to you, right? So you have to be the one to actually create that abundance for yourself. Having less is more, you know, minimizing your life and all of these things is very important. So guys, that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for tuning into this video. Blind Guy, his wife, their life. Axie, thank you so much for tuning in. You know, I hope this video can help you. I know these tools are very useful. And if you're serious about having an abundant mindset, then this is really going to be something that's going to be able to help you, okay? It's like opening up a portal and remembering to close it. Exactly. All right, you guys, peace, much love, and blessings to you. And I'll see you guys inside of the next video. Bye-bye.